Join Bob Kolazarik as he welcomes a diverse array of guests to the enlightening talk show, Greetings from the Ashram. In each episode, Bob sits down with experts and practitioners from the world of complementary healing modalities, spirituality, and holistic wellness to delve into the transformative power of these practices. From ancient traditions to cutting-edge therapies, Greetings from the Ashram offers viewers an insightful and uplifting journey into the realms of mind, body, and spirit. So now, please welcome your host, Bob Kolazarik.
Hello, everyone. Namaste and welcome. I am Bob Kolazarik, and you are watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate, as always, your support of the show. Tonight is very special. I'm excited. I'm giddy. The title of tonight's episode is Pranic Healing and Arhatic Yoga, a Practice for Life, an interview with Kim Siar. Now, Kim is one of my personal VIPs. She has been a friend and a mentor since I started this journey 5 years ago. And I do name drop her in a lot of the episodes because I can't really tell my story and talk about what I do without bringing her into the equation. She's just such a huge part of it. Talked about her a lot in episode 1. And I tell you, if it wasn't for her, there would be no Greetings from the Ashram. She's a Pranic Healing Certification Program mentor. She's a Pranic Healing Teacher Training Division. She's in helps run the training division. She's a public school teacher, Pranic Healing instructor, and leader of Pranic Healing Pod number 68. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Kim Siar.
Namaste. Namaste. Thanks for having me, Bob.
Thanks for being here. I'm sorry it's taken 13 episodes to get you on. As you know, I would have had you on episode 1. I was trying to get you on with me because there is no telling my story, without having you. You're the first person that did like a real healing on me in my second workshop, which is the advanced workshop, which was just so powerful, and I didn't know it at the time. Do you remember that? I mean,
yeah, it was profound. Yeah. There's moments in healing that something's happening. And that was one of those moments.
Yeah, and I remember Cynthia De Leon sitting in the background because she was the instructor of that class, and she was just looking. She like big smile on her face, like that was a good healing. And I don't know anything about anything. I was just, I was like I was a mess, right? That was really bad point. But when I started like just weeping like uncontrollably, like 3 days later, I'm like, oh, I get it. I get you with it. So it was profound. It was a profound healing. And you just kind of take me under your wings and kind of led me down the Arhatic yoga path, which I'm truly grateful. And, we've just become great friends along the way. So I appreciate you. Definitely a soul sister, for me, So, I don't want to get too far down to that, but because we're here to talk about you and share your experiences. I know you have a lot of credentials and you're a big, huge leader in the Pranic Healing and Arhatic yoga community, but kind of what's your origin story and how have these practices personally affected you and your life?
And I think where it would start is right where you were too. There was a crossroads in my life. And if I look back, it was like 3 dots simultaneously. I was at a moment where things were really profoundly painful. And I actually suffered from an eating disorder for 21 years of my life. And if someone would have told me I could live my life without it, I would find it hard to imagine. But Pranic Healing is what cured me. And it was just like you said, it was that a precise moment. It was deep and permanent. And I live my life free on all levels of the eating disorder. So I'm deeply grateful for that healing. And I can raise my daughter without passing this to her. And it really stopped this in our family. So that was one point of light that shaped my path on pranic healing. Simultaneously, I have 2 brothers in my family who have mental illness, schizophrenia. So anyone who lives in a household with mental illness knows it takes a toll on the whole family. So you watch your brothers suffer, you watch your family suffer, you watch your parents suffer. And what I love about pranic healing is it is a pathway to relieve suffering. So not only is it in the healing that you can help others, but the other arm of pranic healing is called Arhatic yoga, and it's the spiritual development. And to me, that's the muscle, the practice that develops the muscles that help you move these healings, be that person for someone or your family that can change things. And it's not of me, it's through me. Like it's really that moment that things line up. But when you practice daily, you're prepared to be something for someone, to be something for yourself, for the person in front of you, for your family. So all these things have kept me moving on the path. But the third point of light that led me to pranic healing was my aunt, my beloved aunt. She was dying of cancer. And all my life, she had arthritis in her hands. So when you knew her, her hands were like this. And she would bake for me. Every exchange was with her hands like this. And I was beside her when she transitioned, when she passed, and her hands opened. And they were the most beautiful hands. And I've never saw her hands open like that. So this question was, why did she think she was that? Why did she think she was this arthritis that eventually led to this cancer that took her life? And this answer I found in Arhatic yoga and pranic healing, the work of Master Choa Sui. So the fact that I found the answer in these studies and many other answers to life questions has made me want to make this a part of my life, my daily life. So that takes me to like what I took the classes. I found pranic healing in a health expo. And as soon as I received my first healing, I signed up for 4 classes automatically.
Now, was it Cynthia De Leon who I referenced earlier? Was she involved in that
She
for
was
you?
the one who got the booth, and she was just, I know she was my mentor. So that is a good name to use, because if it wasn't for Cynthia, was also a person who would be a perfect example of a practice. She practices it. She practices pranic healing. She practices Arhatic yoga, and I do believe she inspired that in me, because making this a practice is a Herculean task in itself. Because it's like you get one thing up and running, then you get the other thing up and running. And so you just keep taking these tools that you receive and you practice them. And then they become your way of life. And she embodied that. And I'm definitely grateful for that inspiration.
You said something about why did your aunt think she was that, right?
Yes.
And she identified with that.
Hmm.
Um, and it just so happens I was on this Tony Robbins thing today, just getting my head wrapped, a little tighter on things. But he was bringing up something about how we just identify, with ourselves
Hmm.
in a good way or a bad way, but we
Hmm.
have these identities, and that just kind of like reinforced message that I was getting today. That we have to recognize those patterns within us that we're identifying that are self-limiting and stuff. And Arhatic yoga is a huge tool to help us do that,
Yes.
with the practice of Arhatic yoga, which is super powerful.
Yeah, this Arhatic yoga is the language of the soul, and we are physical, emotional, mental, spiritual bodies that have to find that union, right? Our Arhatic yoga is that union of the soul with these bodies. So when I was struggling in life, it was these bodies that were ruling, and then as I practice Arhatic yoga, you have your soul that is really the force that's moving this physical, this emotional, this mental, spiritual body. And that integration, that application, that even unfolding of ourselves from a soulful expression, to me has been all the difference. So when I started really embodying that action within me, um, I think that's when everything started changing. So
Yeah, I was talking last week. I just did a solo show last week. I had some things that I just wanted to
you mean
get
a
out.
soul low show? No, sorry.
I was a host. I was the guest. I was the guest host, I suppose you can say. I don't know, but I forgot where I was going with that.
Sorry.
No, but it's what I was saying. Oh yeah, a shift. Like a huge shift. It's small shift, but when people make that shift, that I am a soul with a body instead of I am a body with the soul,
Yes.
it's a stronger connection, and I think to me things make much more sense and from that perspective.
And it's interesting because like it sounds very simple. It sounds very simple, but like I said, when I started going through pranic healing, I was wrapped in this eating disorder. It was controlling me, so I wasn't free. And so pranic healing is what heals it, and it really starts opening your bodies up. And then you practice the Arhatic yoga, and it's this energy that keeps filling these spaces with our true nature, our true essence. And I really find that expression, that ability to express ourselves that truthfully, is such a gift in life. Like, I think that's one of my things I'm most grateful for, is that because of this practice, that I get to live that. And I'll know that forever, that I've reached a space in my life where I could be myself, I could express myself. And it's the one tool that really allowed me to get there was something that you learn in pranic healing, the basic class, the first class, and that's a meditation on twin hearts. So when you have an eating disorder, especially the one I had, I literally hated myself. Like, I hated everything about myself. So if you think about, for 21 years of my life, that was my thought system, that was my relationship with myself. And so this meditation on twin hearts, what it does is it develops the heart. It develops this love that we might not always be able to activate within ourselves because of our environment, because of maybe a condition we have within ourselves. So I just kept doing this meditation on twin hearts and generating and really activating this love within me, and then being able to allow it to heal and fill me up more than the other things that were governing my system. So if you think about that and then you apply healing simultaneously, you can accelerate that thing you're going through and really free yourself. So that's one tool that I really practice. And if I ever find myself going backwards, then I know to go back to basics and do meditation on twin hearts as regularly as possible. So,
Anybody that watches this show up until now knows I'm a huge meditation on Twin Hearts fan. I mean, I
yeah,
had such a profound experience coming out of Tony Robbins' event with
yes,
learning about meditation on Twin Hearts, which put me on a mission to find you, right?
yeah,
Because it all started with that. And then, I had, Dr. Chris No, correct?
yes, yes. Mhm.
So he was on, and he was talking about, he was searching for something. He was younger, his younger days, and then he did like meditation on twin hearts. He's like, pranic healing, that's for me, and that's 21 years ago, right? And I had Hangama on talking about
Mhm.
her experiences, and she's like, I was like Dr. Chris. I was looking for something. I didn't know what. I did meditation on twin hearts. Here I am in pranic healing. I know that's what I want to do. So, and same with you. So it's been very powerful. It's such a powerful thing. And I preach about it. I don't know if preaching's the right word or not, but I do have to take a short commercial break.
Okay.
I am your host, Bob Kolazarek, and this is Greetings from the Ashram, and we're streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. We'll be back with Kim right after this.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Bob Kolazarek, and you're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. We're back with my mentor extraordinaire, Kim Siar. Welcome back from the break in our virtual green room. So before the break, we were talking about meditation on Twin Hearts, which I believe everybody, and if everybody did meditation on Twin Hearts, there'd be peace in the world. There's no question about that. So I was just saying, it affected me, Dr. Chris, most people really kind of gravitate to you. So you want to kind of share a
Sure.
little bit more? Yeah.
Absolutely. So another reason I use meditation on Twin Hearts is professionally, I'm a public school educator of 33 years. And it was my 11th year of education. And one of the things that I would hear often is the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And that really impacted me as a young educator, because I'm like, if that's true, why would I spend a career in something I cannot change? Like, if that statement is true. So again, I went back to question, is this really true? And so what I find with meditation on Twin Hearts, again, it's that activation of the heart. It's an activation of the crown, these two hearts that work together. One takes care of things physically and on the physical world, but the crown is that love for those you don't even know, for a situation that is affecting others. And I need this to stay lit as an educator. So it has helped me avoid burnout in school. So that's what keeps me youthful as an educator, hopeful, and diligent. I can stay in this profession without losing that energies that you have when you're young and you really know and want to make a difference in life. So I use it that way. But the neat thing about Pranic Healing, Super Brain Yoga, and this is the work of Master Chokook Sui, is I actually was in Pranic Healing when Master Chokook Sui would share this other tool called Super Brain Yoga. And he would come around to classes and he would teach Super Brain Yoga. And the neat thing about learning from Master Choa was you watched him research and test these tools out in front of us. So some of the things we do to validate is something called scanning. So you learn this in level 1 class, and we would experiment during class on the effects, energetic effects of a brain exercise on us. Now, simultaneously, neuroscience was a field that was being developed at the same time. So in school, professionally, I'm learning about the brain, and then I go to my Pranic Healing classes and I'm learning about the brain. And I realized I could share super brain yoga in schools. This would help a lot of people. And that's what I did. So I started a research. I was teaching middle school at the time, and I had 2 classes that were doing super brain yoga and one that was not. And the students would do this exercise every day. So what we found, we collected data, we tested, we had standardized testing before the experiment, we had testing after the experiment, and we used those standardized test scores to show the effect of the power of super brain yoga with these students. So what we found in the research, and it's in the book, it's actually published in Super Brain Yoga book, Master Choa Sui's work. And yeah, there we go. What we found in the results was amazing. The students' test scores, standardized test scores, improved. Their emotional regulation increased. And the ability, the stamina, the mental stamina that students need to really think and advance and solve problems was also activated. So before, I would have students that would like really be exhausted if you would challenge them or have to do something over time, and you really saw them have that power that would allow them to stay with something. They were more hopeful, they were more responsive in classes, and their test scores increased. So much so that the administration started coming around because they're like, what's happening in that class? It was such a
Can
big
I ask a question?
yeah.
How long of the period of time before you started to see those kind of
That's a
results?
good question. So it was about 4 weeks. It was
That's
around,
all?
yeah,
It's only
around
4 weeks?
exactly. And it was so natural with class. Right now, we call this a brain break. But before, it seemed revolutionary to stop class and do something to help activate and get the energy flowing again. Because, like, of course, you're using up energy, you have to replenish it. So this brain exercise is simple. The students literally could take 1 minute, stand up right beside their desk, do this exercise, and we could go right back to class. So again, this again caught so much attention. The kids were talking about it. The administration was noticing things were happening. So they started looking at the test results, and the superintendent had me teach super brain yoga to the elementary schools in my district. So I went from school to school to school and shared it with others. And to this day, this is 20 some years ago, to this day, teachers still stop me and go, I'm still doing super brain yoga with my students. So one of the students from the group then tested as gifted. So he wasn't
Really?
even on
Wow.
the radar, wasn't even on, like, it just really brought this up. And I have a 21-year-old daughter. She uses super brain yoga every day. She's in college right now. This is a tool that she's been raised on. She knows the power of it. So it's just something that you can do with your children, you can do personally to increase memory, to regenerate the brain, and really keep all the lobes and parts of the brain working together synchronistically, activating creativity, intuition, intelligence, stability, emotional regulation. A lot of people talk about executive functioning. It gets the frontal lobes of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, strengthened and activated. So there's research on this, but this tool made all the difference in my teaching. So now it's called brain break or brain exercise, but this was even before that was a common practice in classes. So it was really astounding.
No, that is a great story, and I've got the book, and I read your testimonials, but I know the story because I know you. But so you've been doing, you still do well. We do super brain yoga in our Arhatic practice, right? It's
Yeah.
something that we do. Basically helps to activate the brain areas, right? I mean, through acupuncture points, that's part of it.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's something for everybody, but for people who aren't being guided by a pranic healer or a Arhatic yogi, I mean, what would your recommendation to be if say, I want, that sounds really interesting. I want to pick up the book on Super Brain Yoga. There's certain, things you got to be careful about too, right?
Yeah, that's true. You always want to receive an education on that. So what I would do is find a Pranic Healing instructor and take a course or a class. It's about a 4-hour class on Super Brain Yoga, and really be instructed on this brain exercise and empowered by it. Then that's what I like again about Pranic Healing. You really get an education on this tool that you're using. And then it's the practice and the application, the consistency over time that makes a difference. But I just want, if you don't mind, it just reminded me to go back to a story. The reason, again, this started spreading in our district is because the kids would go to the next year, and this tool, this exercise wasn't known. So they didn't have a teacher that was guiding them in it, and they knew they needed it to help them. So the kids were doing Super Brain Yoga in the bathroom before their tests and things like that. And word started getting out. So that's, again, why people started asking, what are you doing with your students? What is this that they're talking about? And it really inspired this big share, really amazing share of Super Brain Yoga along the East Coast. I even traveled the world sharing it in Germany, in Singapore, in the Philippines and India. So I went around and shared the power of this exercise that was shared to me by Master Choco Sui.
Well, that's quite what would the word be? Like a give back to be able to travel to all those. It's good karma, I guess. You like generated some good
Yeah.
karma. You could go travel around the world, spreading these teachings and that Super Brain Yoga. Because I know how passionate you are about the
Yes.
practices. So that's really cool.
And the key, I think, was the research. So that's another neat thing about pranic healing. And we have, if you go to the pranic healing website, USA, Pranic Healing USA, we have a research institute. Because with this research, it shows the evidence of these practices, and when applied again consistently, the effect they have. So it's really worth looking into the Research Institute, the Pranic Healing Research Institute, to see other ways that pranic healing is being shared and evidence-based. So that's the reason that this was so empowered, is because I happened to do a study on it. And it's an imperfect study. I did it as a school teacher. I didn't have IRB or any skills on doing research, but it was strong enough to start an understanding of, wow, this is speaking for itself.
Well, I think it's working for me because my kids haven't made any suggestions about having to put me into a senior center lately, like they had in the past. It's like, okay, I get it.
And no, and you know what? I'm glad you said that, because we do see that this is a concern in families, Alzheimer's and dementia, and there is studies and evidence that this can help with this. So if it could be a preventative, and it could also be a part of a healing. So that these are how you can use these tools. If you know it's in the family, this is something that you could use to keep yourself healing and ahead of this condition that could be passed on.
Yeah, I'm going to try to talk to my son again and try to encourage him to do it a little bit more. We can all use it. And I say that because he's kind of like this natural spiritual essence about him.
Mhm.
And he would do well. He does well when he does meditation on Twin Hearts, but
Yeah.
he doesn't have that muscle that to do on a regular basis. But it's just so important for all of us. But it is time to take another short commercial break. I am your host, Bob Kolazaric, and you are watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. We'll be back with Kim right after this.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality? But it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating. Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant. Like, I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. I am your host, Bob Kolazarek, and you're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. Back with Kim Sawyer. Welcome back from commercial break. Before the break, we were talking. What were we talking about?
Super brain yoga.
Super brain yoga. See, I didn't do my. I was thinking I should do that before the show. I might need to start doing that, but. We were talking during the break there, and when I started this, I've talked about this before. I wanted to be a yogi, but along the way, the service and the healing really became big, and it started with COVID, with the healing pods, and you were the healing pod leader. We started. My first case was April 6th of 2020, and you had set up the pod. So that really was a call for service during that time.
Yeah. So when I'm the same with you, with that spiritual part, the meditative part is what spoke to me with pranic healing. Although I needed healing, and that's what made all the difference. To me, I could meditate every day and be happy. Like, I was very natural with the spiritual part, which is Arhatic yoga. But what I noticed is the more I did my Arhatic practice, so that's one arm. I'm going to put my hand up somehow. That's one arm. And then what automatically happens is, this was my meditative practice, and it got so big that next thing I know, my other hand started raising. And that's when I started healing. That's when I became a healer, because they're both, one is one hand, one is the other. And when you really develop one, the other one naturally comes up. And I was really shocked by that, because I really have never seen myself as a healer. It's not something that was natural. And then it ended up being natural. So what started it is, we are mentored by Master Glenn Mendoza. He is the master pranic healer of the East Coast. He's also the one that's really big on the research part of things, because he was a medical doctor, so it's natural for him. So whenever there was a crisis under his leadership, we would meet online and we would start healing it. Whether it was someone going through a crisis, whether it was a city or a state, a condition in the world, and we would use pranic healing and group work and address this situation. And that really spoke to my heart. It goes back to education, and that apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I want to know that I can help improve the conditions, that something can be done, and that all things are possible. So this has showed me that when you apply pranic healing, especially as a group, in a certain crisis, you can really create a change. And so during COVID, that was a perfect opportunity, another situation where there was something going on. People were suffering, and we had the response team under the leadership of Master Glenn Mendoza to respond. So the neat thing about pranic healing is we have protocols. You do this, and you do this, and you do this in this order to heal cancer, heal arthritis, to improve eyesight, to stop, to heal schizophrenia or mental illness. But what we didn't have a protocol for was COVID. So we applied the protocol we had as close as possible to heal that. And we we're finding people were not living. We were losing patients. So again, under Master Glenn's guidance, we kept studying and applying what we knew about pranic healing. And we would scan and find, oh, this is what's happening to the body that has COVID. And we used that information and we redesigned a protocol, and this one had better results. So now more and more people were getting better. They were getting off their respirators out of ICU. And we started these things called pods. So these teams would take a number of cases, and we would heal every day, 2 times a day, these COVID cases. And more of our clients, clients were being healed. And it was so profound, so impactful. We've helped so many people, and we have research on that as well, that I just kept these pods going. I kept our pod going to this day. So we are now like this crisis team that meets 3 nights a week for 1 hour. There's about 10 of us that still meet regularly since the beginning of COVID, and we take on cases where people need help. And it, to me, is one of the best things I do with my time and energy.
I was a member of your pod for a good solid 2 years. You were my mentor.
OGs.
Yeah, for sure. And it was like triage at the beginning. There were so many cases, just nonstop. Somebody would recover, and you just keep going. But from that, like you said, you have that 10 people or so. There's just a community that grows out of it, and a bond. And many of us, under your mentorship, went and did our associate certified pranic healing. We did that, and then the certified pranic healing. So, a lot of exceptional healers came out of the COVID in the pods. And then, recently I completed this pranic psychotherapist, which I think you mentor that as well, right?
I do.
So, but I never thought I was going to be the healer that I am now. It just blows my mind how things go. But it's that service. You talk about the Arhatic yoga up here, and then the service aspect just kind of really kicks in, and the service manifested it as the healing during the COVID years. And it just, and then you find your soul purpose, right? You just really connect into your divinity. You kind of know what your soul purpose is. Ours is to help move the work of Master Choa, heal people, help people find their light. And then when you know you're doing your soul work, if it doesn't have a service component to it, you got to keep looking, right?
Yes. I love the way you said that. I think that's how I know in my heart. It's a very fulfilling. I feel fulfilled. I go to sleep at night and I'm like, I did something good. I'm a teacher by day, and then in the morning I have an Arhatic practice from 5:30 to 7:30, 6, 8, like Monday through Friday. I have a team, a group of people that I lead there. Then I work during the day, and then I come home and I work with my pod members. Or like you said, I'm also one of the head of the teacher training division. We create curriculum, we create systems that support instructors, those that want to be pranic healing teachers, and empower them to be really successful teachers, because a lot of people want to learn pranic healing. Like think if you have pranic healing in your community, and you don't have to. I had to drive 2 hours. I would put my daughter, 6 years old, in the back seat, drive 2 hours, go to practice where a community of Pranic healers were. I'd have to turn around 9 o'clock at night, drive 2 hours back to Pennsylvania, get us ready for school the next day. And that inspired me to say, wait, I gotta put this in my area. And then that's what instructors do. They put pranic healing in the communities, in the areas, and it makes all the difference. So just like you said, the service, the ability to serve and share, I think, is the power of Pranic healing Arhatic yoga. I just want to share. I want to share what I know. I want to share what I can do with others. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, and that's what I love about the Pranic healing. Well, number one, you're building the structure for the teachers, but
Yeah.
there's such a structure of the workshops, and you have to be trained to do the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
So just wherever you go, pretty much anywhere in the world, these teachings are somewhat standardized, and you're going to get pretty much the same teachings wherever you go, right?
You are so right. And it's amazing that you can learn the class in 2 days. It's a 2-day workshop, and it's very cost effective. And what I love about the level 1 pranic healing class is it's literally called Miracles Through Pranic Healing. And in those 2 days, you will learn to make miracles. You could be an instrument for miracles. And that study, that understanding of there's all these miracles in the world. It's the nature of the world. But do we have the energy to be aligned with that nature? And that's what you really learn in that 2-day class, is how to really use energy to apply these great results, to make the ordinary extraordinary, to make conditions improve, situations change, just by the understanding application of energy.
Yeah, like I said, I go back to, remember, we're a soul with a body and not a body with a soul. And so when you just tap into that, your soul is just into the universe. It's all energy, right? I mean,
Yeah.
energy, like Einstein, energy is everything. Everything is energy. Tesla, all the great scientists, they tap into that universal nature of it. So I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it. I just try to kind of go with the flow and put myself out there, be the best instrument of service that I could be. That's what I'm happy about doing this show, which I never thought service would manifest for me to do this show. As you know, it's just amazing when you just start tapping into it and learning the energy and just being instruments of that, just how life-changing it could be.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And I really, that's another thing that inspires and motivates me. Bob is a perfect example of, I saw the changes in him, the impact that Pranic and Arhatic yoga has had on his life, the improvements he made personally, as a father, as a businessman, fulfillment and community. And now he's running this show and sharing this and doing service this way. So advancing, like you said, through the certification, it's such a joy to watch you go from really hurting, physically, emotionally hurting, to thriving and happy. And it's just, you're a great testament for what the power of pranic healing is.
Well, thank you. I don't want to get weepy. I've kind of become a very heart-centered person these days. I'll cry on a commercial. I don't care. But it's also testimonial to you and your handiwork. I mean, I was a disaster. Plus physically, I'm like 50 pounds lighter than I used to be. So it's you and I will be doing this work together forever. You're my soul sister for sure, and I love you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going anywhere, and I know you're not going anywhere. This is our mission. It's our shared mission, and it manifests in different ways for us. One of these days, I keep thinking I'm going to become a trainer. But I just, It's just like, I don't know, it's not my time yet. So there's different things that I'm doing through the association and the show. But thank you for everything that you do, not just for me, but for everybody. You've touched so many lives. But it is time to call our time here tonight to a close. But thank you for being here. So people can get in touch with you through your website.
My website, pranichealingpen.com.
Yeah, so pranichealingpen.com. Trust me, you won't regret contacting Kim. So time to take a short commercial break. I am your host, Bob Kolazarek, and you're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. I'll be right back.
Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Bob Kolazarek, and you are watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. How amazing was Ms. Kim? I mean, I don't know. She helped change my life, and just little shifts makes big difference over time. So I want to thank her for coming on the show with me. Her passion for what she does and how much she does with pranic healing and Arhatic yoga is just, it's clear. The amount of lives she touched or has guided, helped to transform is probably a staggeringly high number over the years. She's touched my life, which has in turn touched the lives of the people around me. She talked about my kids, my friends, families. And how many people she touched and the lives, the ripple effect through their lives, I can't even begin to put a number on it. So over the last few weeks, I talked about having Chris Nell on the show, Hangama, Kim and Dr. Chris, 20 years plus of pranic healing and Arhatic yoga experience. Had Hangame on, almost 20 years experience. Jeffrey Noble from the Noble Touch in Brooklyn, I think he was close to 30 years, if not more. So this is a practice, but it's a lifestyle. It's a journey of healing and inner growth. It's a lifestyle to continually be working on our mindset, our beliefs, who we are, just to grow and continue to grow and contribute. We currently we work on our character building. We work on becoming more virtuous beings, and we do this for ourselves to improve our own lives. And at the point along the way, I said we identify our sole purpose, and that is to be in service to others and help people find their own light And it's the results that we get in our own lives and the lives that we touch and we see. It does make it a lifestyle, and I just hope that makes sense for everybody. You can find your passion and your purpose by going inwards. Tap into your own divinity, right? Next week, my guest is Avita Miriam. She was scheduled a couple weeks ago, but she was ill. She's Pranic healing or Arhatic yogi, but we are going to focus a lot on the arithmosophy. She is an expert in esoteric arithmosophy, which, according to Pythagoras, elevates numbers to their meanings. It's a spiritual science for self-knowledge, and I'm really interested in that. And I have no doubt there's a lot of good validity to it. So I'm excited about that. I've given her a few reoccurring numbers in my life. I gave her my digits, everything she asked about me. So she's prepared a little something about me. I can't wait to hear about that. I have no idea how it works. I've never studied it, but like I said, I am totally open to it and excited to learn more about it. So that's next week. I hope you subscribe and follow the show on whichever platform that you are watching or listening on. And you can send me any questions, comments, suggestions, or whatever you like to see on the show at greetingsfromtheashram@gmail.com. So until next week, I'm Bob Kolazaric, and you've been watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network.
This has been Greetings from the Ashram with host Bob Kolazaric. Through meaningful conversations and practical insights, this show invites you to explore the endless possibilities for personal growth, healing, and spiritual awakening. Tune in each week to discover how these practices can bring balance and harmony to your life, making it a true journey of self-discovery. Fridays, 7 p.m. on the Bold Brave TV network.